Dr. Anil Lamba, I call you on stage for the keynote address. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody, and what a pleasure it is to be here for the third time. And if you remember, Srini mentioned in the beginning, this is the third time he's hosting a party, so I've been here for all of them. And yes, Srini, it was a chance meeting, but I think the privilege has been mine, the honor has been mine. It's been, now I know you for 7 years, because first time I came to speak on the third anniversary. And I've seen Srini grow from strength to strength and learned a lot from him over the years. So very, very happy to be here today again. And I hope whenever you hold next, Srini, not the 20th, I hope, and let's make it an annual bash now onwards. So once again, everybody, good evening. I've been given the topic to speak about how much profit is enough. Guys, let's try and make it a little interactive. You know, a few years back, a study was conducted of all the sick businesses in the world, businesses that had failed. And the idea was to find out, why do businesses fail? Very often it so happens that technology changes. Some companies do not keep pace with technology. Mr. Ram is here, he is wholeheartedly agreeing with that. And companies become technologically obsolete. Others with newer technology at their disposal come into the picture, and some of the older guys shut down. So do you think, now this is a question to you, do you think technological obsolescence could be responsible for a certain portion of sickness in industry? Possible. There could be a second category of entrepreneurs who technology-wise have no problems. Their problem is not in the ability to make. Their problem is they know how to make, but they don't know how to sell. Do you think marketing inefficiency can lead to sickness? There could be another category of businesses who know how to make, who know how to sell, but the misfortune is they have very militant and unreasonable trade unions which go on extended periods of strike. So do you think, guys, labor problem can lead to sickness? The study conducted showed that out of all the sick businesses, over 95%, one more technological glitch, over 95% were not sick due to any of these three reasons. That means these three reasons and some more put together were responsible for not even 5% of business failures, and over 95% were sick due to one reason. यार ये नहीं चल रहा है अभी. Financial mismanagement. Guys, this is an undisputed fact that in the world, out of every 10 businesses that shut down, more than 9 shut down on account of financial mismanagement. And why does it happen? Don't people realize how important it is? Even if they do, your company can be guilty of financial mismanagement, because how many of you are non-finance people? Now it's moving faster than I wanted to. Answer is, none of you are non-finance people. I'm going a little faster now because I know you're all waiting for dinner, so I'm going to ask the questions, I'm going to answer them myself to save some time. But normally if I ask a room full of people, how many of you are non-finance, almost every hand goes up, except the CAs. In this room, half the 50% hands should not go up. And my answer is that not a single person in your organization can say, I'm a non-finance person. Now, what do I mean by that? You could be in charge of production, you could be in charge of marketing, you could be in charge of HR. And when I say all of you are finance people, the logical question that comes to mind, what do you mean? So question is, you know, when the real finance management is happening, people like me, so-called finance people, are not in the picture. Finance management is happening when every time a salesperson takes a decision to agree to an offer made to that person at a certain price or not. Finance management or mismanagement is happening when the materials manager is out there negotiating purchasing or deciding the quantity to be purchased. Financial management or mismanagement is happening when the HR person decides the number of people to be recruited, the terms on which to be recruited, etc. Guys, people like me who call themselves finance people come into the picture after everything has happened. We do a post-mortem and tell you whether the company has made a profit or not. What I'm trying to tell you is, even if you hire the best finance professionals, if they're going to do a post-mortem, by the time they come into the picture, it's already over. And therefore, because of this flawed perception of what finance management is, what is the consequence? 9 out of 10 businesses in the world fail due to bad finance management. One more question, guys, before I come to the real topic on hand. Tell me, if I ask you, how do you describe this company? What business are they in? Can I say this is a leading automobile manufacturer? How do you describe this company? Leading IT services company. And what about this company? They are a leading hospitality company. All these three answers are absolutely wrong. When I ask you, what are these three companies in? All these three companies are in the same business, and never to forget, the business of running a business enterprise is to make profit. Tata Motors does it via manufacturing automobiles, and Hilton does it through providing hospitality, but the objective of running a business enterprise is to make profit. So question is, if business is started with the single objective of making profit. At one time in India, profit was considered to be a bad word. And I think all of us have paid a price for that attitude. So if business is all about profit, then the question is, how much profit is enough? Because I've always said there's a fine line between making profit and profiteering. We are in business to make profit. We are not here to profiteer. Guys, to understand that, tell me, your revenue should cover cost of production. Do you all know your company's cost of production? If you're a manufacturing company, I think so. Do you know your company's cost of administration? Probably yes. Do you know your company's cost of selling? Probably yes. Do you know your company's cost of capital? I'm not sure. Guys, your profit should be enough. In fact, your revenues should be enough to cover all these. And this thing moves way before, it's speed of thought actually. So when I turn back, there's a different slide compared to what I expect to find. My question is, how many of you in this room know your cost of capital? In fact, do you even know how much is the capital of your company? Let me see some hands. How many of you know your cost of capital, guys? Okay, right now hands are not going up. Probably you're worried about the consequence of raising the hands, but but my experience is, normally if I ask a room full of 100 entrepreneurs, and I do it very often, let's say addressing a FICCI conference or a CII or a YPO or somewhere, and let's say there are 100 people there, and you say, how many of you know your cost of capital? After asking this question, for the first 15 to 30 seconds, nothing happens. And then gradually, reluctantly, 1, 2, or 3 hands go up. And then when I start quizzing them, I realize their perception of cost of capital and what I'm going to tell you probably is poles apart. Now your revenue has to cover cost of production, cost of selling, cost of admin, and cost of capital. Very often, it doesn't cover the cost of capital. Why? Because you don't even know what your cost of capital is. So let's have a little discussion on that. Giving you a little 101 on balance sheet. Guys, Srini already introduced the balance sheet. He said his dad called him a liability, and he reminded his dad, liabilities bring money to the organization, to the house. So liability side tells you where the money has come from. Where does it come from? When a business is started, when CFO Bridge started, obviously all the money, his wife will bear with it, came from Srini's pocket, right? So the money comes from the owner. That's called, let's say, capital. 300 crores comes from there. And let's say you go to a bank or somebody and you borrow. Another 400 crores has come from there. Bankers, since they don't take risks, get a fixed return. Owners take the risk, and therefore, when the businesses don't turn, they get nothing. And when businesses earn, theoretically, they're supposed to get everything. But rarely that happens. Hardly a business will give the entire profit to the shareholders. So when part of the profit is taken away by the owners, the remaining part is left in the company. That becomes a further contribution of the owner that appears as reserves. Pardon me, those of you who are very familiar with the balance sheet, I'm addressing even if there's one person in the room who doesn't understand this. So guys, owners contribute in two ways: direct when they put in capital, indirect when they leave behind profits. Outsiders contribute in two ways: give you loans in cash, and sometimes instead of money, they start lending you goods and services and agree to pay later. That appears as a current liability. Money goes into two avenues: creation of fixed assets and working capital. Now my question was, do you know how much is your capital? Now imagine this is your balance sheet. Now tell me, how much is the capital of this organization? Anyone? Can I say the capital of this company is 300? 900? Do I need to stand here? 700? 500? 800? What do you think, guys? How much is the capital of this company? Unless you know capital, you can't work out cost of capital. 900? 500? I seem to be holding an auction or something. I think for the purpose of this discussion, you must interpret the word capital to mean 1,000. The logic of this is, you must remember the left-hand side of the balance sheet has a cost, and the right-hand side has an obligation to earn for you a return which is at least equal to the cost. But the question is, if 1,000 is the capital of this company, and the 1,000 is made up of 4 components, which of these 4 components has a cost? Does owner's money have a cost? Are you supposed, if a business makes a loss, are you supposed to pay the banker still? Yes. Are you supposed to pay the owner? If a business makes a loss, the owner's condition was, if you don't make a profit, I will take nothing. And to compensate for that risk, when you do make a profit, I will take everything. So if you don't have to pay the owner, this should be considered as free. One slide before that, you know, Bain and Company did a research, and they found that in America, 9 out of 10 companies do not even earn a return equal to the cost of capital. So guys, owner's money is free, because cost is something which you have to pay notwithstanding. What about reserves? Dividend, if any, is given on capital. Interest is given on loan. Do you pay anything to anybody on reserves? No, so it's free. Loans in this case, 400, have a cost. At the rate of 12%, what does it cost you? Can somebody keep changing the slide when I tell you to? Yeah? Okay, at 12%, 400 will cost you 48. And what about the vendor? This company went to the vendors, said, suppliers, goods and services will pay you next month. Next month, when you go with a check, will the vendor say, give me interest also? No. So can I say that is free? Guys, how much is the capital of this company? 1,000. How much is the cost? 48. So how much is the average cost of capital? 4.8%. I said the business will make money, make profit in the real sense of the term when your profit equals or exceeds the cost of capital. So supposing this company tomorrow earns a profit of, or they meet an opportunity where they can earn 4%, should that opportunity be accepted? No. And what if they can earn 10%? How much is the cost of capital? 4.8. If they can earn 10%, can this opportunity be accepted? Yes? Next. Folks, are you agreeing with me so far? If you are agreeing with me so far, we have a serious problem. Let's go back. Let's imagine, next. Imagine a company owes a bank, let's say for argument's sake, 10 crores. Now how many of you are not happy when I said owner's money is free? Anyone not happy when I put a zero against owner's money? So I'm going to ask you differently. This company has borrowed money from the banker, they have borrowed money from the owner. At the end of a certain period, let's say they owe the bankers 10 crores. What about the owners? You do not owe them anything, but the owners have an expectation. Those of you who are not happy when I said owner's money is free, you said even owners are investing money with an expectation of a return. Let's say if you meet the owner's expectation, it is going to cost you. Guys, all this I was telling you, please pardon it, is because change of laptop, things are just spreading all over. So just focus on the message and ignore the quality of presentation, please. This company owes the banker 10 crores. Owners are hoping to get 10 crores. If they have to satisfy both of them, they will need a minimum bank balance of 20. They find in the bank they have 10 crores. That means they are either in a position to pay the banker or the owner. Who will they pay? Why banker? You made a commitment. If you don't pay, the fellow is going to charge you interest and perhaps interest on interest, compound interest. And what will happen? You lose credibility. Do you think he'll give you loan next time? Probably not. And of course, when the banker said, the condition is you have to pay, and you agreed, but the banker didn't take your word for it. Then he took your building as security and all the equipment was hypothecated. Then he told the owner, that personal house of yours also, can you give me? And then can you request a few friends to give their houses also, etc., etc. So when a banker says I have to be paid, banker means I have to be paid. And if you don't pay, he should be able to come and sell off all your assets and recover the money. And what about the owner? The poor owner had said upfront, take my money. If you don't make a profit, you don't give me anything. And of course, to compensate for that, when you make a profit, I will take everything. So guys, when a company finds they owe the bankers 10 and the shareholders are hoping to get 10 and they have just about 10, chances are they will pay the bankers and default on the shareholders. Ladies and gentlemen, to a large extent, all this is absolute theoretical nonsense. In real life, there are enough situations where faced with a choice of this kind, this company may go ahead and pay the shareholders, even if it means defaulting on the bank. So the question to come to your mind has to be, why? Why is this person committing a foolish act like this? Why is he paying an entity like a shareholder who is completely powerless to do anything if you do not pay him? And you are not only paying the shareholder, you are paying him at the cost of not paying an entity like a bank, which controls your life strings. He can sell you off. Why are you committing suicide? And to cut a long story short, today is not the time to go long, but point is, if you don't pay the bank, and I'm assuming this guy is not a crook. I'm not talking about a Vijay Mallya, I'm not talking about a Nirav Modi, I'm talking about a genuine, honest entrepreneur. This entrepreneur is so professional, he genuinely believes owners and bankers are both lenders. It is equally important to reward both of them. However, due to recession, due to pandemic, there was a cash crunch. And they found they were in a position to pay 1 out of 2 lenders. The only crime committed by this company is when they had to choose between these 2 lenders, they seem to have chosen the shareholder and not paid the banker. And now what will happen? As I said, to cut a long story short, chances are after a few months, he'll sit with the banker, he will make the banker agree to restructure the loan and probably give him a plan of action how to get out of this mess. And the banker will probably not only restructure, may pump in some more money to help him stand back on his feet. Point I'm trying to make is, guys, if a genuine entrepreneur, due to genuine reasons for circumstances beyond his control, if he can't pay the banker, perhaps the same banker will pump in money and bail him out of his problems. But guys, if you don't pay the owner, it could well be the last public issue of your life. Or I'm asking you once again, does owner's money have a cost? I completely agree with those of you who were not happy when I put a 0 against owner's money. Of course, owner's money has a cost. It will be naive to think owner's money is free. And because so many entrepreneurs treat their own money as free, Bain and Company says 9 out of 10 in US are earning a return which is consistently not even covering the owner's cost of capital. So if owner's money has a cost, then the next question is, how much is the cost? So first of all, guys, you will agree, we have to recalculate this 4.8%. Just wait for my signal before you change. Guys, if we have to recalculate 4.8%, how much should I put against the owners? Tell me, what is the most expensive loan that you have come across? 10%, 11%, 12%? 30 in the worst case scenario, 15%? What is the cheapest share that you have seen from a dividend perspective? Have you noticed even when B-grade companies give dividend, they land up giving 30, 40%? I'm now trying to tell you not only owner's money has a cost, but the cheapest share is perhaps more expensive than the most expensive loan. How much dividend Reliance used to give? If I'm not wrong, I think they started with 50% in the year of inception. Bajaj Auto used to give 100% dividend, I do not know for how many years, continuously. L&T, where I am training 100,000 people in one company alone, L&T a few years back gave a dividend of 14 rupees per share. Share has a face value of 2. 700% dividend. Following year, they gave a 1:1 bonus. And after a 1:1 bonus, they gave a 10 rupee 50 paisa dividend. A 10 rupee 50 paisa dividend after a 1:1 bonus is equal to 21 rupees before the bonus. A 21 rupee dividend on a 2 rupee share is a 1050% dividend. And then the next year they gave 16 rupees. Then they gave another bonus. Then they gave 18 rupees. Hero Motors shareholders received an interim dividend of 3,500%. 70 rupees on a 2 rupee share. Interim, followed by another final dividend. Point I'm trying to make is, does owner's money have a cost? Answer is, not only it has a cost, it has a huge cost. But am I saying owner's money has a cost only when you're a public limited company? What if you're a proprietary concern? Now does owner's money have a cost? Now the approach has to be different. Why did the owner invest money in this company? If the owner did not invest, he could easily have put his money in a bank and earned 4-5%. In bonds, 8-10%. In risky ventures, 15-18%. Guys, do you think an owner will ever invest money in his business unless he is absolutely confident what I will earn in this business is greater than what I can earn outside? And when this person invests outside, when he puts it in a bank, when he puts it in stocks, who's working? His money is working. He is free. But when he puts money in business, he not only puts in money, but then he starts working morning 8 o'clock to evening 9 o'clock. And in the process invites blood pressures and stresses and ulcers. Does he not deserve 10-15% for that? I'm saying whichever way you look at it, 20-25% on your money, 15% for your health. Unless a business can earn for the owner a minimum return of 40-50%, I don't think it's worth investing. Now, when I make a statement like this in front of a room full of owners like today, what kind of statement? That don't even start a business unless you can earn a minimum return of 40-50%. By now, half a dozen owners are on their feet. That, Anil, how much did you say? 40-50%? Can you show me a business which earns that kind of return? Then I need to explain, what do I mean by 40-50%? I don't think today is the time to explain, but all I'm saying is, guys, I'm not talking about profit margin. Those of you who think I'm talking about too high a figure are misinterpreting this as a profit margin. I am talking about ROI. To give you a quick example, I'm a director in an IT peripheral company. Huge turnover. Probably most of the gadgets you have been brought into the country by them. Large turnover, but wafer thin margin, not even funny. Guys, this company, when they bring the goods into the country, they release it from customs, distributed across the country, and money collected. The cycle should finish in 7 days. If it takes 8 days, they make a loss. It's that thin a margin. But if they can collect it in 7 days, this money gets rotated 52 times in a year. Even if the margin is 1%, 52 rotations in a year, they get an ROI of 52%. Margin is 1%, ROI 52. I'm talking about ROI. So those of you who think this number is too high, sir, it's not high, it's a conservative number. Are we okay so far? I am exceptionally fast today, only knowing Srini, I don't want to delay your dinner too much, not yours, their dinner too much. So, but if something you don't understand, please raise your hand and ask me. So I'm going to put 40% here. What about reserves? Do reserves have a cost? Dividends are paid on shares. Interest is paid on loans. Do you pay anything to anybody on reserves? Answer is no. Can I say reserves are free? Answer is no. Even reserves belong to the owners. It was the owner's decision how much money to take home and how much to leave behind. When will you leave behind and when will you take it home? Because if you take it home, you can deploy it elsewhere. You can invest it somewhere else. So you will only leave it in the company if you think I can earn more on that money inside the company than I can earn outside. So frankly speaking, I should be putting 40% here also. But since I'm taking a conservative approach, can I put a rock bottom 15%? The CAs in the room will start an argument with me. How can you discriminate between the first item and the second item, frankly speaking? But I'm just making the numbers palatable for you. So I'm putting a very, very small 15% against reserves. First item has a cost. Second item has a cost. Third item has a cost. That leaves you the vendor. You went to the vendor. You said, supply me material. I will pay you next month. Promptly next month, you went with a check. Will the vendor say, I want interest also? Most likely no. Can I say this is free? Answer is no. How is it not free if you don't have to pay interest? Guys, if you pay to the vendor on the due date, the vendor will not ask you for interest. But if you go to a vendor to whom you owe money next month, go today and tell the vendor, I can pay you this money today. Will you give me a discount? I think the junior most officer in the vendor's organization will probably be empowered to say, if you're going to pay me money before time, I'll be very happy to extend to you a cash discount. A CD is what they call in India, at the rate of, I think 2% per month is industry standard in India. 2% per month translates into 24% per annum. How can a vendor give you a discount at an effective rate of 24% per annum just because you're giving money before time? And the answer is the vendor can afford to do that because this is the kind of interest the vendor has already built into the quotation the day they quoted to you on a 30, 60, 90-day basis. Guys, 2% per month translates into 24% per annum. Since I'm taking a conservative approach, can I at least put 1.5% a month? 18% per annum? Let's now recalculate the weighted average cost of capital. This company has borrowed 300 at 40%, 200 at 15%, 400 at 12%, and 100 at 18%. What does money cost this company? 216, or effectively 21.6%. What did I tell you? What was the rule? The rule says first understand cost of capital. And then you got to make sure your assets generate a return which is at least equal to the cost of capital. Why do I say equal to? Why not? Shouldn't I be saying assets should earn a return greater than the cost of capital? Answer is equal to is good enough. Why is equal to good enough? Because in this 21.6, we have built, hold it, we have built everybody's expectations, including the owners. That means if this company earns a 21.6% return, the employees of this company will get salary, the vendors of this company will get paid, the landlord will get rent, the banker to this company will earn 12%, and the owners will earn 40%. So at 21.6%, everybody's expectations are met. First of all, you must understand 21.6% is meaningless. If your company's capital is 1,000 crores, then your profit in absolute amount should be 216 crores. What if this company makes a profit of 100 crores? On the face of it, it's a profit-making company. But guys, at 100 crores, what will happen? chances are it's a profit-making company. Employees will get salary. Landlord will get rent. Vendors will get paid. Bankers will get 12%. But who will not get? The owners. They said, we want 40, 50%. They'll be taking home 5, 6, 7, 8%. Would you call that business a success? Is it a sustainable proposition? Once in a while, if the owners do not get their desired rate of return, it's okay. They're the risk takers. But folks, if year after year after year, the owners continue to get 5, 6, 7%, it's not difficult to visualize sooner or later these owners getting together, calling a roundtable conference, having a little discussion. Why did we start this business? Did we start the business so that we can generate employment in the country? Did we start the business so that vendors can make money, bankers can make money? Or did we start it so that we can make money? Except for us, everybody is making, it's a matter of time before they will shut it down, and then nobody will make money. So how much profit is enough? It is enough when everybody gets their desired rate of return, and if you generate a return higher than 21.6%, chances are employee will get the same salary, banker will get the same interest, landlord will get the same rent, but the owner said, I want 40%. Owner will be taking home 50, 60, 70. That, according to me, is success. To have outperformed the owner's expectation is to have succeeded in the real sense of the term. Give me 2 more minutes and I'm going to give you 2 pieces of bad news which might take your sleep away. Ideally, I should stop over here. But guys, bad news number 1. Next. How much does the left-hand side cost this company? 21.6. How much should the right-hand side earn for their minimum? 21.6%. Bad news number 1 is left-hand side of your balance sheet has a cost. Entire left-hand side has a cost, but the entire right-hand side doesn't earn. Why does it not earn? I'm giving you some homework today. Homework number 1, tonight, calculate your own cost of capital. Homework number 2, make a list of your assets. What kind of assets do you have? Depending on what you do. Land, building, plant, machinery, equipment, inventory, delivery vans, cafeterias, art on the wall, money in the bank, debtors, whatever you have. You will discover against every asset you will be able to write the letters, either the letters PA or the letters NPA. What does PA stand for? Obviously, we all know from a banking context. I'm talking about in an industry context. PA is performing asset, NPA is the non-performing asset. What do you mean performing and non-performing? If you own a car and the car runs beautifully, is it a performing asset or a non-performing asset? Guys, your car is a non-performing asset. The taxi owner's car is a performing asset. So by non-performing, I mean some assets earn for you, other assets do not earn for you. My experience is if you happen to be an extremely lucky organization, chances are your breakup between performing, non-performing could be something like 50-50, if you're lucky. If not, the NPA can be higher. Tell me, how does it alter your equation? How much does the left-hand side cost you? 21.6. How much should the right-hand side earn for you minimum? 21.6%. And now to your horror, you discover half the right-hand side doesn't earn. So how much should the other half earn for you? Oops. 43.2%. Second and last piece of bad news, which might take away your appetite, and Srini will be very upset, but at the risk of that, I'm going to tell you. Guys, second piece of bad news is even performing assets do not perform throughout the year. If you happen to work 6 days in a week, 52 days those performing assets are not performing. God forbid if you follow a 5-day week, 104 days those assets don't perform. Then India is a land of festivals. God knows how many more holidays come in. And then you have, if you are a manufacturing company, you'll have breakdowns, you'll have maintenance shutdown, then there are annual leaves, then there are sick leaves. Somebody has worked out the best organization in the world performs not more than 2/3 of the year. Guys, but do you realize liabilities don't take holidays? Has any banker ever told you, oh, you don't work on a Sunday? All right, no need to pay me interest for a Sunday? Never. Liabilities perform 365 days. Even performing assets do not perform throughout the year. And you are now expected to earn 43.2%, but over 2/3 of the year, the effective targeted annualized rate of return becomes. I'm not going to clarify whether you're understanding or not, because just in case your appetite hasn't been lost, let me not make sure it goes. But guys, you must understand the source that provided the money is costing you 65%. If you find 1 rupee on the right-hand side, which is idle for 1 day more than necessary, the pain has to be felt here. What are you doing idle, damn it? This meter is costing 65%, you should be out earning 65. Because if you don't earn 65 today, your neighbor will have to earn 130, 65 for you and 65 for itself. Thank you very much. Thank you for the patience for waiting for all that glitches that we had.